The observation deck of the Celestial Harmony hummed with the soft whir of recycled air. But Mira Hale barely noticed. She stood at the viewport, watching the swirling nebula outside paint the darkness in shades of violet and gold. 3 months aboard this diplomatic vessel, and she still hadn't gotten used to being the only human among the Carvathi delegation. The Carvathi were apex predators, from a world where mercy was a foreign concept and strength determined survival. 8 feet tall, covered in obsidian scales, with eyes that could track movement in near-total darkness, they were the galaxy's most feared warriors. And yet, here she was, a 5'4" agronomist from Earth, assigned to teach them sustainable farming techniques for their newly colonized worlds. The irony wasn't lost on her. "Human Mira," a deep voice rumbled behind her. She turned to find Ambassador Chakran, his massive frame filling the doorway. "The younglings have discovered something of yours." Mira's heart skipped. The Carvathi younglings, cubs, as she'd learned to call them, were notoriously curious and equally dangerous. Their play involved mock hunts and practice kills. Last week, one had accidentally shredded a maintenance drone. "What did they find?" she asked, following Chakran through the corridor. "Your, foot coverings." Mira stopped. "My shoes? The old ones you discarded in the waste reclamation area?" She remembered now, her worn-out running shoes, the ones she'd brought from Earth. After 6 months of daily use, they'd finally given up, the soles separating from the fabric. She'd tossed them yesterday, planning to replicate new ones. They arrived at the nursery habitat, a vast chamber designed to simulate the Carvathi homeworld, hot, humid, with artificial trees and rocky outcrops. The lighting was dim, suited to predator eyes. Mira's human vision struggled for a moment, before adjusting. Then she saw them. 6 Carvathi cubs, each the size of a large wolf, were clustered around her old shoes in the center of the habitat. But they weren't shredding them or playing tug-of-war as she'd feared. They were sleeping. One cub, Tirek, she recognized him by the distinctive white marking on his snout, had his head resting directly on her left shoe, using it like a pillow. His breathing was slow and even, his razor-sharp claws retracted. The other cubs were pressed close, their bodies forming a protective circle around the shoes. "I don't understand," Mira whispered. Chakran's voice was uncharacteristically soft. "Neither did we. The younglings have been agitated since their transport from the homeworld. Separation from their birth pack causes distress. They hunt phantoms in their sleep, cry out for mothers who are light years away." He paused. "Until they found your foot coverings." Mira crept closer, careful not to wake them. The shoes looked ridiculous. Faded blue fabric, frayed laces, permanently molded to her feet's shape. They smelled like her, she realized, like human sweat and the lavender soap she used. "Why would this calm them?" she asked. "You tell us, human. You are the one who has shown such patience with them." Mira thought back over the past weeks. She'd spent considerable time in the nursery, not by assignment, but by choice. While other crew members avoided the cubs, understandably nervous around juvenile predators, Mira had been fascinated. She'd sit and observe their play, their learning patterns, the way they communicated through growls and body language. She'd even started bringing them treats from the hydroponics bay, protein-rich tubers that the Carvathi loved. The cubs had warmed to her quickly, approaching without the wariness they showed others. "They recognize safe scent," another voice said. Elder Matron Veskra emerged from the shadows, her ancient eyes gleaming. "In Carvathi culture, young identify safety through scent markers. Their mothers, their pack, their territory, all carry familiar smells that mean home." Mira knelt beside the sleeping cubs. Tirek's ear twitched, but he didn't wake. "My shoes smell like me," she said slowly. Like someone who's been kind to them. More than kind, Veskra corrected. You do not fear them. You do not see them as the monsters the galaxy believes them to be. You see cubs, young ones who need guidance and care. The matron's tail swished thoughtfully. Humans are prey species on your world, yes? Small, soft, vulnerable, yet you do not run from predators? How? Mira smiled, thinking of Earth's history. We learned to see beyond teeth and claws. We domesticated wolves, befriended them, turned them into companions. We recognized that predators could be partners, not just threats. She gestured to the cubs. Maybe that's what they sense, that I don't see them as dangers to avoid, but as children who need someone to care. Tyrek stirred, his eyes opening to slits. Those golden eyes, capable of seeing in spectrum ranges Mira couldn't imagine, focused on her. For a moment she held her breath, aware that even a cub's jaws could crush bone. Then Tyrek made a sound, a soft chirrup, almost like a purr, and pressed his snout harder against her shoe, settling back into sleep. Shakran's voice carried wonder. In 300 cycles, I have never heard a cub make the comfort sound for anyone outside their blood pack. What does this mean? Mira asked. Veskra approached, her movements slow and deliberate. It means, human Mira, that you have been adopted. These cubs have claimed you as pack. Your scent is their safety, your presence their peace. She paused. It means we have much to learn from your species about strength that does not require dominance, about courage that does not come from size. Mira looked at the 6 sleeping cubs, still curled protectively around her battered old shoes. In the grand scheme of galactic politics, it was a small moment. No treaties were signed here, no wars prevented. But as Tyrek sighed contentedly in his sleep, Mira understood something profound. Humanity's strength had never been in matching the predator's tooth for tooth, claw for claw. Their strength was in seeing past the surface, in offering trust where others offered fear, in recognizing that even the fiercest hunter was once small, vulnerable, and in need of comfort. She carefully removed her current shoes, the new ones she'd been wearing, and placed them beside the old pair. Just in case they need more pillows, she explained. Shakran's laugh rumbled like distant thunder. Perhaps there is hope for the galaxy yet, if humans and Karvathi can find common ground in something as simple as worn foot coverings. As Mira left the nursery, she glanced back one final time. Tyrek had shifted, now resting on her new shoe as well, and the expression on his young face was unmistakably peaceful. Sometimes, she thought, saving the galaxy started with something as small as letting predator cubs rest on old shoes, and trusting that gentleness could be its own kind of strength.